don't have any bear spray or anything. I think I heard something in the woods back there. Hey! Beat it!
Here we are back at Naturally Superior Adventures in Michipicoten, Ontario. Again, Ted and I rolled in probably about 1 in the morning and we just set up camp here on the beach. And my hand is feeling a little bit better and we are mounting a rescue mission. This past weekend we did some work around the house and we got Tori's cousin to come in and take down some branches. He's an arborist, to get more light on our vegetable garden, and hung out there. And then Ted came over.
Hello, good morning.
And did some prep and came here in order to rescue our canoes out of the bush. We still have a lot of our outfits stashed on the East Puckasaw River after I had the serious injury on my hand where the axe came down and just sliced the tendons. But you know what, it's feeling a little better, and maybe I'm pushing a little bit too hard, too early, I don't know, but I think I should be fine because, you know, I'm a little concerned because we have serious work cut out for us to go and get all that stuff. So we got to bushwhack back in there, get our gear, get our canoes, portage it back up the side of a canyon, through the bush, grab our canoes, and then basically track them up the river. We don't know what water levels are going to be like. We might have to portage them the whole way if they're too low. We wanted to go downriver, but and that was a thought, maybe we could do it, but I'm just too concerned that my hand's just not ready for, you know, what would probably be about an 8-day trip going downriver, in addition to the fact that there's just no water in the river. I mean, this river is a spring run river, meaning it just kind of dries up, and we're in late July now. And you know, it's just gonna be freaking just a drag the entire way. I'm also trying to scramble and finish planning for a big trip I have much further north as well.
Pretty disappointing because you know, the river trip was supposed to be, you know, a really rugged, awesome adventure, but we considered trying to get down the river. Kind of disappointing. I think Jim's faking it because he has other things he wants to do more.
We've decided just to, you know, cut our losses. We're going to get in here. We don't know whether we're going to be able to pull or track or wade or what. We're going to have to kind of grade the conditions when we get there and get our stuff out of the bush, rescue it so we can, of course, use it on other trips. And we're getting concerned just leaving our stuff there, cached in the bush, some nice gear we have in there. So we want to get it back. And that's the point of all of this. So it's not going to be a fun trip. Today and tomorrow are just going to be some real interesting slogs. So that's the plan. We got to pack our stuff up and drive out on that gravel mining road and find the old Trapper's Trail that we picked up last time. Use that as a shortcut, head in and just start bushwhacking.
It's a freaking beautiful day here, and we've discovered some wild strawberries on the beach. And so we're gonna pick a couple of those for breakfast. Still, lemons and the honey were like delicious.
Wild strawberries for breakfast. Delish. The legend lives on from the Chippewa on down to the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Superior, it's said, never gives up her dead when the gales of November come early. That's the song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot. And Gitchagumi means big water. That's the Ojibwe word for the lake. And those are the native people that lived in here and traveled these inland lakes and rivers, and as well as living and traveling along the coast too. And this was a fur trade route. At one time the voyageurs would paddle right along the north shore here on their long trip to Grand Portage before the route would start to head inland. Here we go. Gross crossing. Okay, well, we're getting close to where that trapper's trail that we found comes out onto this forest access road. So we just passed the first turnoff where we got picked up when we had to trek out of the bush, and now we just got to keep our eyes peeled. It's about 2.5 or about 3 kilometers, I think, to where this this thing is, and we broke a stick and we tried to mark it so we'd be able to tell where it is when we're coming back, because it's going to shave off a lot of time. Close the front door there. Yeah, I'm sure. We don't have much past that. Oh yeah, that's yeah. Just trying to take my bag off like this. It's just like immediate pain, and now it's like sore, you know? Oh, and this begins.
The bug spray's in my bag. We did leave food in here, so we have the option of completing the journey. But one of the things we might run into is that a bear has found that and could have, you know, broke into the food barrel and got our food, or just dragged it off somewhere where we can't find it. These rivers, they can only really be run in the spring. There is the chance maybe we'll just head down, but in all likelihood, we'll have to, assuming our gear's there and hasn't been taken, we'll have to try to track back upriver. So, the reason we can tell that this is a trap line is because of these boxes. These are bait stations for marten. It's right adjacent to a swampy creek here too. So the trapper would put some bait and a trap in there. Some of the blazes are pretty old, eh? Look at how old that blaze is, you know? Old, which means this trap line is potentially old too and been passed on for a few generations. So, which would also make sense that you would do that, because this trail's well worn, yeah, like as a footpath, yeah, like and probably predates the road. Yeah, so I would think it would predate the road for sure. And just coming along this creek adjacent here, it's just good habitat. Country, yeah, for sure. Interesting to me because every trail has a story, and trap lines are usually only used in the trapping season, which is winter. The trail there, you can see that it's pretty well worn. Yeah. Not in winter. Maybe animals come and use it, or maybe when I check the map in the broader area, this could be a traditional portage route in from another lake, for people, native people and early trappers crossing over into the East Puck. Might coincide with the blazes we saw at our first campsite last time too. So interesting. I wonder what the story of this trail is. Could just be a simple cut off the road, or it could be much older. I've lost the trail. We've lost the trail. Too much talking about the trail and not enough following it. You want to go that way or this way? You choose. Look. What? This. Maybe an animal trail though. The reason we lost the trail is because it ended. Must be what it is, okay? Oh, it is. It just was so much shorter than we remember. Yeah. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so there's another creek on that side now. So we're almost at the mouth. So do you want to just cut off the corner? Yeah, I think we were at the mouth and we started cutting the corner of it. And And so, but we're still not out of it. That's not the puck yet.
No,
So
no.
we were a little, you know, ambitious, but I think that trail's throwing us off because I remember it being like the full
Right
length.
to the puck, yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty blazing. I don't know how we went off. So we went off the trail and either it just ended or it's, we just kind of followed a little side thing and got a little disoriented. We know where we are because of the rivers.
I'm gonna unclip my map. Right.
Is it?
So me and Ted are just looking at our map and we were actually going completely the right direction. But when we thought we hit the puck east, we weren't. So I guess we kind of screwed up there, and then we turned left a little earlier thinking we were following it, thinking we're at the mouth of the creek, but we weren't. So that kind of disoriented us, but it turned out that we were exactly where we needed to be. And we're actually just going to take an overland cut across route over a mountain to get in and save some time.
We're probably like right here or something.
Yeah. Even in this shot here. I'm going to line the inside lines on the compass housing with the north-south military grid lines of the map. I'm going to place the compass in between where we are and where we want to go. So a line like that. And now that I've lined the lines inside the housing up with the grid lines, because we're in the east, I'm going to add declination just because of the difference between true north and magnetic north. So here, which is about 6 degrees, 2, 4, 6, right there. Okay, and now when we pull the compass off, I'm going to hold it flat in my hand and just turn, rotate until the north needle lies within the red north arrow inside the compass housing. And now I'm going to go straight the way the top of the compass is pointing. And as I walk, I'm going to make sure that that red needle stays within the red box in the housing. And that's the way to go. I follow the way the compass points. Ideally, if there's landmarks and it's more open country, you can just sight something in that line and walk to it. In the dense bush, that's a lot harder. So you got to try to walk really straight. And it actually makes sense just to hold the compass in your hand like that as you walk. Because if you're putting it away, the bush is so dense, you have to pull it out and take your bearing again and again. And it's not practical. So let's go. On to the bearing.
Oh, a mosquito right down the windpipe.
Miserable.
It's high point. We can hear the river now.
Yeah. First glimpse of the Puckasaw here. See the trees here. Now we're more or less going to cut off a bend in it and then follow it. So we're doing all right. We're making decent time, but I think if it keeps going like this, we'll be able to make it there today.
I hope there's enough water to get back up the river, because dragging your canoes and gear through this is going to be hell.
If we can't drag our canoes up the river and wade, and we have to bushwhack portage through this, it's going to be like the worst thing that's ever happened to me. That was not a very good balancing job by me. We're still up on this freaking hill, eh? Yeah, I guess it is maybe crossing over the top more or less.
Should be able to see the river a little bit better.
Yeah, I can see the river. Here's the river down there. This is why on the way out we didn't follow a bearing and we followed the river, because we didn't want to come up this freaking huge hill, and there's actually a couple of them. So, but we tried it on the way back just because it was shorter and maybe avoid some of those like balsam swamps and alders, but I honestly don't know if it actually has been any easier. It's definitely been mentally easier because we're not stressed and pushing through time, and we have less weight.
Yeah, like you remember coming down past this.
So we just cut out to the river here, and this is kind of a pool here, so it's deceiving, but it's nice that we'll be able to paddle sections like this. But I can see areas that where we ran the rapid, and you couldn't run them anymore. The water's so low, like you'd have to get out and walk and pull your boat along. So it's not really paddleable anymore. But the good news is that I feel like there's enough water, like we'll be able to go upriver and with our canoes and our gear, which will make life way freaking easier.
So we started from the road where we walked out. So we cut 3K off of the walk, because last time after we got out of the bush, we had 3K to walk on the road. And we've made it into the river. We cut over a mountain and took a bit of a shortcut on a compass bearing this time, which I don't know if it was easier or not than last time, but we got here. Up there looks like a dragon spots, but maybe we'll be able to pull it or something. So that's encouraging, because if we had to bushwhack out of here with all our stuff, which was a possibility, it would be, you know, at least 2, probably 3 8-hour horrific days.
Morale is up.
And we continue on through this.
Right.
There might be anyway. This is a waterfall where we can't.
That's one of the big hill that we avoided on the way out. That's why we followed the river. That's the waterfall where we camped on the first night. A lot tamer now.
Got a ways before the switch, right? Like 100 meters or so?
Yeah.
Well, kind of a big moment here. I'm just walking to the bush up on that long set of swifts, and I'm not sure if they're going to be wadeable, which would be a horrific drag portage, but it looks like there is enough water in them. Definitely gonna have to drag, eh, Ted? Up some parts, but it looks like we're not gonna have to portage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So much better.
Definitely gonna have to drag up parts, Ted, but it looks like it's not gonna be one huge portage, man. That's good news.
Remember that tree.
The river's low, so we can just walk on the rocks at least for a stretch.
Wow.
Easier, eh?
A lot easier.
This is where that swift led up to the blind corner, and then another swift in a waterfall. And the river was wider and pushier, and we eddy hopped along there and then front ferried over to the other side. But if you look at the water level here compared to episode 2 in this series, you can see quite a drastic difference. It's come down quite a bit. Well, see, that could my hand up there, but I'm fine. I just fell and had to grab something and just didn't feel good on the old hand. See the scar, but that's nothing. It's the tendon damage that's really bothering me. Back on the rocks again.
In the deep section.
Oh.
Like leaking.
You can see during flood how much higher the water is. Even when we were here, it was quite a bit a ways up on that rock, but whatever pushed those logs up there was a serious torrent. Hey, a butterfly. Oh, darn it. They're pretty tricky. It's not too easy, this one.
Do you recommend that route?
Not particularly.
Jim's not recommending that route. Just come back, let's go around.
Careful.
Sometimes that lichen crumbles away. You know?
Yeah, I'm not liking it. Tiring stuff. Just taking a break here. Yeah, those boulders we just had to clamber over were dangerous. Boulders with logs on top. We're just in the set of swifts following the river here before the first surprise waterfall.
The question is, do we need to camp?
Yeah.
So we're gonna carry this gear down.
Ooh. Good point.
Then we got to carry it back up.
Very good point.
You know?
I say we kind of have to. You mean just leave it where we cache the canoes, or do we carry this down the huge cliff back to where the gear is, where I cut my hand?
I don't know if there's any campsite down there. I just think camping on the other side of the river is better.
Yeah.
But we could just
Why do you think that?
Because I saw it.
You did?
Yeah, it's like Canadian Shield.
Oh, you mean like in between the two falls?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we can do...
You know, it would be easier if we just kept going down river.
kept going downriver. There's the Ted wanting to go downriver again.
Downriver. I think we should just go downriver. Looks easy. Like right now we're portaging.
We're gonna do a Puckasaw East Branch redemption mission next spring.
Right now we're
but I don't want to go down when I'm just gonna be walking, dragging the canoes the whole way.
I do, because like we drove all the way. I drove like 10 hours, 12 actually, with the side trip to Jim's. Now I'm back in here, and yes, the river water level is low, and I wouldn't get all those fun rapids, but you wouldn't have to spend so much time scouting them. So you just jump out and wade and fish the falls. And then, you know, a huge part of this trip that's fun is Lake Superior. So there's 80 kilometers of just like gorgeous coastline and the potential to catch huge lake trout and
the
salmon.
Potential to be windbound for a week.
So,
you know?
a week?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, for potentially.
We could like catamaran and stuff. Like, it's not gonna happen.
We could catamaran. That'll be actually pretty cool.
Jim really doesn't want to paddle this river because he wants to go paddle some other river, apparently.
I just think that it's literally going to be walking and hauling over boulders, beating the trash out of canoes. Basically, we'll be walking. It'll be the Puckasaw. It won't be the East Puckasaw. It'll be the East.
I think it'll be
Waukesha.
like. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be like. So it's not a whitewater trip anymore, but there might be the odd whitewater we could run that would have been too big before. And these little rapids you can't paddle down. We might have to walk and wade our boats. That would take longer. But, you know, we also wouldn't spend as much time scouting rapids because there's no rapids.
Because you couldn't run any of them. You just could wade up to them and then portage, you know?
Right. So, but we wouldn't have to get out and scout it. We could just go. So
that's true. That would
might not actually take that much longer, and we'd lose the whitewater, but maybe the fishing will be better this time of year, even though it's a little late. Sometimes when the water's high, the fish don't bite as much. And it would still be a fun adventure. So
I think that what's going to happen is it's going to take way longer than we think. The waves are going to be big on Superior and sketchy, and it's going to be just like a never-ending drag when we
pessimistic Penelope.
Well, I'm just saying we could get our shit out of here and go paddle a good river, and then come back and paddle this river when it's good. You know what I mean? Instead of like potentially a drag that could take way longer than we think.
Good. This is fun. It's just as fun, you know. It's fun. It's still an adventure. Jim's hand is hurt though too. It's concerning that like he'd injure it, and I'm pushing him to do it.
That's pushing me to do stuff. I'm not. Hasn't even been 8 weeks. I'm supposed to be resting as a minimum 8 weeks, and it's been like, I don't know, like 6 maybe. Probably shouldn't even be doing anything this summer.
Maybe I should have just brought a separate car and then paddled the river, and Jim could have gone back.
Paddled the river? You mean dragged along the river?
There's lots of sections that you can paddle. This whole section here, you could like, you'd just be like sitting with your ass and bumping down and floating.
I wouldn't be going anywhere along here.
Sure you would. We're also in the higher stretches, so the downriver might have a little more volume in it and might be more paddleable, but it also widens, and so it could displace the water and still just be, you know. There also could be long sections that are actually not wadeable, but still have, because it's too much water volume, but you can't paddle it because there's so many boulders you just pin. It would be too dangerous. That could be a portage. So
yeah, like a never-ending one potentially.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I still think we could do it.
I mean, we could probably walk from here to the Thunder Bay. You know, we could probably do that, but you know, crawling in naked and bloodied at the end of the trip.
I don't think we could.
No.
No. We could die for sure. Oh, so just behind me is that eddy. It's an eddy Jim caught right there that I didn't want to paddle into. So I noticed that. I'm like, the canoes would be up here, but you can't see them from here. So it's a little moment of panic. You can see that we dragged up, but will they be here? Oh, oh!
They're both here.
They're here.
No one has stolen our canoes. High five. No one has stolen our canoes.
After doing all that, I'm just like, why did I think anyone would ever come and steal them? Like, it's just so hard.
After doing that whole walk in here, we just reminded us how safe our canoes actually are.
Let's put our bags down here. So I think we can like walk the shore now.
Here is the Eddy out or die spot before the falls. Quite a bit more tranquil.
Oh, it might be pretty fun to finish the river, Jim.
This is what we'd be going down this the whole way.
Yeah, but we're gonna get more.
That's not fun. You can't paddle that.
Slow creep.
There's the falls.
We do want to try.
So Ted's kind of come up with an idea. We're thinking what we do is we just walk down, grab our gear right now, leave our bags with the canoes, cross the river, camp on the other side. There's a nice flat spot at the top of the falls.
We might need our empty bags. We dump stuff out of our bags.
Yeah, so maybe we'll take our empty bags down there.
You know? Right. That's what's on this river. There's like billions of falls.
Really?
It's not rolling now.
Power bar?
Yeah.
The guy from Manchester Erie just thought it was an epic story.
I feel like if I catch a minnow, I'm just gonna eat it just for the.
Yum. This one looks totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, this is tough. Let's cut back up. Well, just looks pretty rugged and trees and shit in there.
Yeah.
You know? So where did we go? We went up here?
Yeah.
I think we walked up there.
We don't have any bear spray or anything, which was pretty foolish. Or a pen banger or anything.
You have that paddle.
All I have is this paddle. So we're getting close to where we cached all our stuff, including our food.
Here's the cliff. Solid 15-foot drop, probably maybe more. Obviously at one time the river ran this way, eh? Something like that, or ran both ways.
I think I heard something in the woods back there.
Hey! Beat it!
Hey!
Did you hear anything?
Hey!
We're approaching our food, and Ted said he heard something move in the woods. It's not a good sign.